Hey guys, John, Koah Spear Guns. Doing something a little different today. Got my buddy Rob on the boat. We're going to, a couple weeks ago, I tragically lost my very expensive Rhodan. For those of you that don't know, a Rhodan is basically a GPS guided trolling motor. It has a huge fiberglass shaft on it. I think we had the 86 inch. It's long. I mean, it has to be for these boats that sit higher in the water. And this is our boat. It's a 28 foot, the Twin V GTX. It's been great to us for the last few years. And I'm definitely not bad mouthing Rhodan in this video. We used the hell out of this thing for like 4 years or 3 years. I think we had it. And as you can see, the mount right here. We had, last time I was out with it, I was in the back, and in Palm Beach, it's really tricky because we have so much current because we're so close to the Gulf Stream. So I was out here and I was in the back, we were deep dropping, and I was actually checking there. It wasn't that deep, thank God. We were in about 175, 180, and deep dropping, and I'm in the back pulling up Vermilion Snapper, and heard a crack, and I run up front, and by the time I ran up front, it popped off the mount. The mount just snapped, and all I could see was the top of the Rhodan going over the bow of the boat, and it was gone. I was gonna jump in, but by the time I got to it, it was already 10 feet down. I had a friend on the boat. He had no idea what was going on, so I'm like, just made the best decision in the situation. I said, screw it, just let it go. So for those of you that don't know, they're very expensive. So that was painful to watch that thing go to the bottom. But today, fortunately, I have my friend Rob Murphy's getting all his stuff together, and we're going out there, and I know exactly where it is. He's very accustomed to diving in these depths, so he's going to take a look and see if it's, by some crazy chance, it's still down there, and send it up on one of his commercial industrial lift bags. And it'd be amazing if we find it. Truly rare. But while he's down there, I know the wreck that it's on. It's a very small barge that very few people know about, so hopefully it hasn't been dove. And yeah, there's usually big hogfish on it, usually nice gags, so it'd be really nice bonus if he's able to shoot stuff down there, because here in Palm Beach, a lot of the shallower stuff gets beat up pretty good, and there's a lot of really cool stuff past 150, 170, and very few people have the qualifications to dive it. He's very comfortable in those depths. So let's see what's out there. Got lucky. I mean, water's not as blue as I want it to be, but it, we need visibility to find this thing. But Rob's gearing up, about to drop him in, and the beauty is there's almost no current, which is, crazy for Palm Beach. I mean, we're getting, I don't know if you can see it or not, but we're getting less than a knot of current, and the wreck's painting up nice. It's got we have fish hanging at about 100 feet, 120 feet, so there's obviously a thermo there. And on the wreck itself, that usually makes for some interesting fish, because if it's cold at 120, that usually means it's really cold in like 300, which in our benefit pushes fish up to here that you normally wouldn't see. So I'm gonna hook the camera up to Rob's Euro, and let's see what he comes across. Might be interesting. Looks like he found it. That's his stream of bubbles coming up off of that. let's see if, God willing, he sends up something. If not the Rhodan, maybe a really respectable hog or a gag grouper wouldn't be too bad either. Now I find this next part kind of funny because you can tell after he shot that nice hog, he's going around the barge. This isn't a very big barge. It's only about 35, 40 feet, and it's maybe 15 feet wide tops. And you can tell the second he finds it because the spear gun just stops and it just starts slowly drifting to the floor, and boom, you know he was just beelining for it. He saw it, he found it, and he was getting the ropes on it because he's working with extremely limited time down there. Everything has to be done fast. So, you know, here you can see he's filling it, the lift bags, both lift bags completely full, you know, trying to get this thing vertical and to start ascending. But you'll notice that it's just sitting neutral, like both bags on it, still not enough to get this thing off the bottom. So he just kind of starts walking it up, and, you know, it's, you can't just, you know, muscle this thing up from 170 feet. So he's using his bladder on his BC, plus the lift bags, plus he's, you know, just slowly walking this thing up. And it gets pretty chaotic once it gets to the surface. I'll let Rob explain in the next scene what happened, but yeah, it doesn't look like much in the video, but it was a little chaotic there once it hit the surface. I can't believe it. I got it. Look at that. Over a month on the bottom. I can't believe you frickin' found it. Oh my God. I can't believe you got it.
Successful recovery mission.
Yeah, successful recovery. You got so how was it down
beautiful
there?
Palm Beach hog.
For Palm Beach, that's a monster. That's like 12 to 13
hog,
pounds. Yeah. That thing is, you don't see them that big.
It's been a long time since I've shot one this big out of Palm Beach.
Yeah, that's what we used to love this barge for, was these big hogs.
You called it when I went down.
I was like, there gotta be one down there.
So I got down there, hog was sitting right there, stoned it thankfully, got it strung, and then started looking for the trolling motor. Didn't have to look far. It was sitting basically right in the sand right next to the wreck. Put 2 lift bags on it. These are 40-pound lift bags, and it didn't budge. So I'm like, all right. So I started to kind of lift it up, and you could tell like it was almost floating. It just needed a little bit of assistance. So I figured I would just inflate my BC and kind of ascend with it, which worked out well. I was just kind of coming up with it. And then I got to about 20 feet, and it started pulling up. So I just let it go, and it went to the surface. I see the boat pull up, started to pick up the trolling motor, and then it started sinking back down. So this perfect operation kind of went awry. Went kind of chased it down to like 35, 40 feet, grabbed it, and then started pulling it up. And by then it took a little bit of effort. I was kicking like crazy. I was pulling as hard as I could. Barely got it up to the surface, and John was right there with the boat and grabbed it. Then I had to go back down and do a little bit more of a slow control descent. Sat at 20 feet for a minute, and then just did a nice slow ascent. And we got fish and trolling motor in the boat, so we're successful.
That's fucking awesome, man. And let me tell you, from my perspective, I see Rob. I see that I'm next to him. I can see his bubbles. So I see a big cloud of bubbles coming up, and usually that means something is on its way up, and usually the dump valves are letting out because it's expanding as it goes up. And I see, I'm like, no way he frickin' found it. And sure enough, I see the 2 lift bags pop up, and I'm all excited. I'm like, sweet, I gotta go get it. And I start going over to it. And that was so stressful to watch it go back underwater. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Stressful from my perspective,
I know.
too.
I'm like, you gotta do all this work, and then it's going back down, because we won't find it a second time, because we're not on the wreck anymore. We're drifting. So thankfully, Rob was down there, and like a superhero went after it and grabbed it and had to kick it back up. But man, I mean, that and this bonus hog, I mean,
we're eating good tonight.
Yeah, you know how long it's been since we've seen a hog this size around here? I mean, these are big hogs for Palm Beach standards. So fucking hey, man, job well done.
Well done.
That was awesome. So that's a wrap for this video. Huge thanks to Rob Murphy for taking the time out of his day. We've been trying to line this day up for weeks and to get out there, and finally the conditions lined up, and rare occasion that we actually had slow current in that deep of water. Ask anybody out here, usually past 100 feet the current is screaming. So I got her back. She's not looking as good as the day I bought her, but you know, for being on the bottom for almost 6-7 weeks, you know, she looks savable. People over at Rhodan said if I could bring this to her, they'd take a look and let me know what it would take to repair it. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video to give you the feedback on what exactly survived from being at 170 feet for 6 weeks. I think it's a good metric of the quality of these things. So like I said, we used the hell out of it for 3 years, so like I said, I'm not blaming them for the mount breaking. I should have been keeping a closer eye, especially with my knowledge of petroleum plastics and sun degradation and all that. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a hell of a day for me to find this expensive piece of equipment. So if you guys like what you see, always I say subscribe. The more subscribers we have, the more of these videos we can put out. So thanks for coming along, and until the next video, guys.